Why this Duke loss will haunt Coach K more than any other. It's arguable that no team Krzyzewski has had in his 44-year career contained the high-end talent of this edition of Duke, with 3 likely top 5 picks and 4 projected first-rounders. They've put forth, with inevitable number 1 pick Zion Williamson as the cornerstone and flanked by likely top 5 picks RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish. This is a Duke team that will be generational touchstone for high-end talent. And that's why this will be remembered as the biggest missed opportunity of Krzyzewski's career. Krzyzewski, 72, will likely build more title contenders at Duke and could well go on to win another championship. But he's not going. In the dwindling years of the one-and-done era, it's hard to imagine Duke U or anyone, really U, compiling as robust of a collection of high-end talent as these Blue Devils, who finished short of the Final Four. When asked about them, too. As the sport evolves and talent turns professional instead of going to college, its new faces will be comets like Murray State's G.A. Morant and Texas Tech's Jared Culver. College basketball. Williamson all but said he's leaving for the NBA after the game, which is about as obvious as the color of the White House. The same is expected. The caliber of Duke's young talent failed to overcome the roster's lack of depth and the inconsistency bred from injuries. And on Sunday, fittingly, it was Winston dribbling out the game's final seconds as Duke failed to foul trailing by a point. Winston sprinted. Krzyzewski kept going back to Winston U, the MSU star junior's experience, his decisions, his resolve. Krzyzewski when Duke won the national title in 2015, it highlighted Krzyzewski's coaching paradigm shift. That team featured, at that Final Four, Krzyzewski bristled at the notion of Duke mimicking the blueprint of Kentucky's program. But in reality, But Duke couldn't deliver the Disney ending, which isn't altogether unsurprising considering that the one-and-done era is on the cusp of being remembered as unkind to teams with title aspirations. Hove relied too heavily on that model. Kentucky's the one-and-done era essentially began after the NBA stopped allowing high schoolers to enter the league following the 2005 draft. In that time, there are only 2 or 3 seasons left of one-and-dones in college hoops, which in part force for its lack of preparedness for what college basketball will look like when it no longer is a landing spot for the most elite talent. How will things work? These are all questions that need to be answered soon. But it also he'll be around 75 when the system changes back over, and it's hard to imagine him attempting to revert back and try to keep Duke elite on what's expected to be a much more level playing field. I ran this notion, to decree this season a failure would be too bold. But it was clearly more from Yahoo Sports.
Raindrops, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot pot, fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.